Welcome, everyone, to another deep dive.
Glad to be diving in.
Today, we're looking at, well, a really fascinating document that sheds light on humanity's place in this huge interstellar alliance, the Galactic Compact.
Yeah, it's vast, ancient, filled with just countless species, all with their own ways of, talking, existing.
Completely different communication styles, and that's where humanity stood out, wasn't it?
Right off the bat.
They had this specific name, the Quiet Ones.
The quiet ones.
And the source is pretty clear. This wasn't meant as, like, an insult.
No, just a description, an observation.
But it makes you wonder, okay, what did that really mean to everyone else? Why was this quietness so misunderstood?
Exactly. That's the core of it.
So our mission today is really to unpack how that perception, this idea of silence being, I don't know, shyness?
Or even, let's be honest, maybe interpreted as slowness or lack of intelligence by some.
Right, how that flipped and became, well, humanity's biggest strategic asset when the whole galaxy was facing this massive threat.
It's quite a story. And you really see why they were perceived that way when you compare them. You had species like the Voxiri, constant chatter, just filling every channel.
Non-stop noise.
Then the Harmonics, who literally sang their emotions. Imagine diplomacy like that. A whole symphony of feelings.
Yeah, intense.
And the Shale, their moves just radiated off their skin like glowing lights.
Yeah.
Impossible to miss.
So against all that, you have humans.
Just watching, observing. The documents say in meetings they were often still learning. On trade councils, their words were few, precise, measured.
Which, okay, you can see how others might misread that.
Absolutely. Shyness, maybe lack of wit. But the text has this incredible line that the silence wasn't emptiness. It called it compression. Every word unsaid was a coil wound tighter.
Ooh, I like that. Compression, like a coiled spring, just waiting.
Exactly. So what looked like a lack was actually this concentration of potential, strength held in reserve.
And this compact, it had kept the peace for millennia?
Thousands and thousands of years. Older than, well, almost anything we can think of in human history. Maintained order across countless systems.
But it was maybe a brittle peace.
That's how the documents frame it. Ancient, yes, but fragile. And sometimes one crack is all it takes.
And that crack arrived. The Keth.
Yeah. Just appeared. Out of nowhere, it seems. No contact, no diplomacy.
No take me to your leader moment.
Not at all.
No.
No broadcasts. They didn't answer hails. Their method was singular and terrifying. Consumption. Everything. Planets stripped down to the mantle, moons cored out, entire civilizations just erased, like wiping chalk off a board.
The efficiency sounds chilling.
It was. And mysterious. Compact fleets, entire battle groups would just vanish. Utter silence. The few survivors who made it back told stories of, well, impossible weapons.
Impossible how?
Ships phasing through solid matter. Attacks that weren't just physical, but mental.
Yeah.
They talked about screams that were inside your head until you forgot what you were.
That's deeply unsettling. Psychological warfare on a level they couldn't comprehend.
Exactly. And think about the compact built on communication, on shared understanding, even sung emotions. How do you deal with an enemy that offers only silent destruction?
Chaos, I imagine. In the councils, utter chaos.
You got it. The sources describe total desperation, arguments, fear, species shouting over evacuation routes as their fleets disappeared, trying old tactics against something terrifyingly new.
And into this chaos steps a human.
Commander Alina Vey. CNS Hound, a ship described as small, underpowered. One admiral apparently sneered it was suited only for chasing asteroids.
Not exactly the flagship of the fleet.
Far from it. But she steps forward in this desperate council meeting, and there's this calm about her. It apparently just froze the room.
What could she possibly say to cut through that noise?
Something incredibly simple and almost, well, unbelievable given the situation. She just said, "We've studied them. We think they could be beaten."
I bet that went over well.
Predictably. Outrage, disbelief, maybe some scorn. How dare this human? That kind of thing.
But someone listened.
The archivist. This ancient being, older than almost anyone, just quietly asked how.
And that was the moment.
That was the moment. Alina brought up a holomap, showed the Keth movements. Not random, she explained. Patterns. They moved like predators, she said. Not mindless hunting. They pushed their prey towards certain star systems. Herding.
Herding, like cattle to slaughter.
Precisely. And then she delivered the key insight, the single sentence that changed everything. They think like us.
Wow. They think like us. Not like the ancient form of compact navy, but like...
Like predators. Like hunters. The compact Navy, you see, had these incredibly complex, rigid war doctrines. Thousands of years old, perfected for wars, fought under certain rules, certain expectations.
They'd forgotten that primal edge.
Exactly. They hadn't needed it for so long. War was codified. But humans, well, the document says humans did. We remembered. Our history, shorter, yes, but full of that kind of conflict.
That quiet observation paid off. They saw the underlying instinct.
That's it. While others were broadcasting or singing or glowing, humans were watching, learning the patterns beneath the surface.
So, what was the plan? The source calls it simple and insane, a human specialty.
Yeah, it seems so. It was audacious. Okay, step one. 3 large, compact fleets would pretend to retreat. A full-on, panicked flight.
Leading the Kef.
Exactly. Leading them right into a specific, pre-chosen trapped system. A dead system. Empty. Or so it seemed.
Seemed.
Because humans had been there, quietly, preparing. The weapons weren't your standard mines or torpedoes. They used entire asteroids.
Entire asteroids.
Packed with fusion cores buried deep inside, hidden, cloaked with heat-baffling dust so they were invisible.
Okay, that's big, but how do you trigger them all?
That was the insane part, the delivery mechanism, the entire debris field, the asteroids, everything. It was rigged. Rigged to collapse inward using a massive, calculated gravity sling.
A gravity sling, pulling everything together.
Simultaneously. The goal wasn't just blowing up ships. It was to create a detonation so immense it would, and I quote, rip space-time itself into a storm of radiation and twisted gravity wells.
Good grief. Not just destroying them, but tearing the fabric of space apart around them.
Pretty much. A localized cataclysm.
I can only imagine the other species' reactions when they heard this.
Oh, you know it. The compact admirals.
Reckless.
Unthinkable, according to doctrine.
The harmonics.
They probably sang a dirge. Suicidal, they called it.
And the chatty voxery.
Rendered speechless for once. No, they apparently just said impossible. They couldn't process it.
So, against all that, what did the humans say?
Their response, according to the document, was chillingly simple. They just called it bait.
Bait. Using the Keth's own predatory drive against them.
Exactly. It wasn't about complex tactics they wouldn't understand. It was about understanding the hunger, the hunting instinct, and using that as the lure. Pure predatory logic.
So the execution, 3 fleets running, the Keth closing in.
Yep. The Kef followed, completely blinded by instinct, seeing only prey, running scared, just as planned.
And Commander Vey, in her little ship?
Alone. In the CNS Hound, waiting. Positioned right at the edge of the prepared kill zone. She waited until the lead Keth ships crossed that invisible threshold, the point of no return.
And then?
Then she spoke. One last time. Not to her fleet, but into the void, toward an enemy that had only ever brought silence and death. Her words were simple, calm, devastating. This is humanity. Welcome to the kill zone.
Chills. What happened when she triggered it?
The system ignited. The source says it lit like a new sun being born. Gravity buckled. Space-time shivered. Keth ships just crumpled, folded, shattered, or got flung into the collapsing vortex at the heart of the system.
Nothing survived.
Nothing. The trap wasn't designed for survivors. And when the light faded, when the storm subsided, the CNS Hound was gone too. Vey was gone with them.
A sacrifice to ensure it worked.
A final, quiet act.
And the immediate result. The Keth.
They didn't come back. The advance stopped. The threat receded. It seems the demonstration was persuasive.
The impact on the compact must have been immense. How did they see humanity after that?
Profoundly different. The perception shifted entirely. They built a monument, apparently, in that dead system. Silent. Stark. A reminder.
And the archivists?
They recorded a new entry in the Great Library, Alina Vey, the quiet one who spoke once.
Wow. So the name stuck. Quiet ones.
It did. But the meaning changed completely. When other species said it afterwards, the whispers carried. Well, respect, awe.
And maybe, the document suggests,
maybe just a little bit fear, too.
because they learned something fundamental that day.
Humans are quiet until we aren't. And when we finally speak,
Someone always listens. A powerful lesson from the archives.
it really makes you think, doesn't it? Which leads to a final thought, perhaps, for you listening. What hidden strengths might your quiet moments, your careful observations, or maybe your seemingly unconventional approaches hold? Strengths that others around you might just completely overlook.